All right, let's talk about the Buddha. Now, when you picture him, you probably see a calm, serene teacher sitting under a tree, right? Well, that's definitely part of the story. But if you dig into the original texts, you find a description of power that's, well, it's on a completely different level. We're talking cosmic. So that brings us to the core question of this whole explainer. Who was he, really? Was he a wise philosopher, an enlightened human who figured out the secret to ending suffering? Or was he something else entirely, something more like an emperor of the universe, with authority across infinite worlds?
So, Section 1, a question of power. To even begin to answer that, we have to look at what the scriptures actually say he could do. And, it goes way beyond just offering wise words.
Now, here's a really crucial point. The texts are clear that these abilities aren't some kind of random magic. They're not about breaking the laws of nature. Instead, they're described as the natural result of a mind that has been completely awakened and purified. It's the full, unlocked potential of consciousness itself. Section 2, the Six Superknowledges. So, how did they classify these abilities? Well, it wasn't just a random list of cool tricks. There's actually a very specific framework for them, and it's known as the Avinya. The name itself, Avinya, is a huge clue. It translates to super knowledge or direct knowing. Notice it's not superpowers or super magic. The emphasis is on insight. These abilities come from seeing reality so clearly and so directly that the normal rules just work differently for you. And here they are, the 6 of them. So you've got the first 5, which are what you might think of as classic supernatural stuff, right? Manipulating the physical world, hearing and seeing things across any distance or dimension, reading minds, remembering past lives. Pretty incredible. But then, look at number 6, the extinction of mental defilements. This is the game changer. It's considered the ultimate power, not controlling the world outside, but achieving total mastery of the world inside. Section 3, miracles with a mission. Okay, so that raises a pretty obvious question, doesn't it? If that 6th one, inner freedom, is the real prize, why even bother with the other 5? Well, the texts make it very, very clear. They weren't for showing off, they had a mission. This quote really nails it. The miracles themselves had no value. Think of them like a tool, a key used to unlock a stubborn door. The point isn't the key, it's getting through the door. These powers were only ever used to help someone get past their own ego or ignorance, so they would finally be ready to hear the actual teachings that lead to liberation, to Nibbana. Let's look at a perfect example of this in action. We've got this character, Brahma. He's a really powerful god living up in one of the highest heavens, and he has a major problem, a colossal ego. He genuinely believes he's the all-powerful, eternal creator of everything, and that nothing exists beyond his control. So how do you teach a being like that some humility? The Buddha doesn't get into a long debate. Instead, he challenges him to a cosmic game of hide and seek. Brahma, totally overconfident, is like, game on. He tries to hide everywhere, across the universe, at the bottom of the ocean. But no matter what he did, the Buddha found him instantly. Then it was the Buddha's turn. Brahma searches every inch of the known cosmos and comes up with nothing. He is completely and utterly stumped. The self-proclaimed creator of the universe can't find him. Finally, he just gives up. And that's when he hears the Buddha's voice. Can you imagine? The Buddha was in a place so far beyond the god's conception of reality that he never even thought to look. It shattered his ego. That single demonstration of a power he couldn't even comprehend was the only thing that could humble him enough to actually listen and learn. The miracle was the key. So that was a one-on-one lesson. But these powers were also used for these grand, sweeping displays to inspire millions of beings at once. And probably the most famous of these is the event called the Opening of the Worlds. The backstory here is pretty amazing. The Buddha had gone out to a heavenly realm for 3 months to teach his mother, who had been reborn there. When it was time to come back to the human world, he descended on this incredible celestial staircase, surrounded by all these gods and deities. And it was at this moment that he performed his greatest public miracle. For one single breathtaking moment, he peeled back the curtain between all the different realms of existence. Beings suffering in the lowest hells could look up and see the human world, and the heavens above them, and humans could see both the heavens and the hells. It was this incredible direct lesson in cause and effect. Talk about a wake-up call. Section 4, Emperor of the Universe. When you're performing miracles that involve revealing the entire structure of the cosmos, it kind of naturally leads us to the next topic, the mind-bending scale of Buddhist cosmology itself. We're about to go big, really big. So the scriptures don't just talk about one universe. The term they use is Anantajacavala. It means infinite, or more accurately, innumerable universes. It's a number so vast that it's considered one of the four unthinkables, things the human mind just can't calculate or wrap itself around. And the Buddha's influence extends across all of it. The texts actually break down his influence into three escalating domains. Think of it like ripples spreading out. The first, his nation domain, covers 10,000 universes. The next, his authority domain, the reach of his teaching, covers a number so large it's basically countless. And then there's the knowledge domain, what he could know if he chose to focus on it. And its scope, infinite, no limit. Section 5, the ultimate liberation. So we've gone all the way out to the edge of reality, authority over infinite universes. It's an absolutely cosmic scale. But here's where the whole teaching does this beautiful pivot and brings all of that unimaginable power right back home. And this just says it all. There's a story where someone asked the Buddha if you can travel to the end of the universe. And he says no, you could travel at incredible speed for your entire life and you'd never get there. But then he says this, the real world, the world of suffering, and more importantly, the end of suffering, isn't out there. It's right here, within your own body and mind. So that's the final twist. The unparalleled cosmic power, the knowledge of infinite worlds, it all served one purpose, to give him the authority and the tools to point people inward. The greatest power wasn't ruling the cosmos. It was showing each person how to free themselves. And that leaves us with this final, really provocative thought to chew on. If the ultimate power in the cosmos is actually mastery over your own consciousness, what does that imply about the universe itself? It completely flips our idea of what power is. It suggests the final frontier isn't outer space, it's inner space. So what does that tell us about the real relationship between the universe and the mind that's looking at it?